I've also got this bracket to do. This is the main bracket for the rear exhaust that I've derusted as best I can. Exhaust is off the car now, as you can see. And another one there. I'm going to have to weld these together. I think I'm going to treat them, paint them, and then we're going to weld them together and then just fill in the little bits afterwards. That's that. Rear exhaust bracket, took it off and refurbished it, which is good. So now what's supposed to happen is, let me think, that goes like that there, and the exhaust comes through there. This holds all the muffler at the end and everything like that. This goes something like that there, in there, and you can see what's happened is the bolts have snapped because they're all rusty and shitty. As I tried to take them out. So what I'm going to do now is get all the placement right and set up, and then I've got to weld these two together. And I thought if I welded them through those holes, you can kind of see that, and that will kind of act a bit like a bolt as long as I go nice and OTT, nice and hot on the MIG welder. What I'll have to do, I think, is put this in place first on the car. One thing I noticed is it's got 3 bolt holes here that were meant to be attached to the car, rear near side rail, but only one bolt was in place. That was that bolt here, and the whole thing was hanging off, just how someone had fit it. I don't know how they managed to do it. Very odd. So I'm going to put this on first, then mark this up underneath, and then on the car, and then weld it upside down on the car, which I hate doing. Welding upside down on the car is such a shitty job, it's impossible to make it good. And then mark position and then weld through like that somehow. Also, when I was messing around with the rear of the car, the rear quarters, cutting some bits out, I've just seen a member that I've cut through by accident and weakened the chassis, so I need to weld that bit up. I won't bother showing you, it's just an inch of weld or something like that. Right, we'll update with further progress by. Okay, so what we've got now is the new restored half of the bracket, at least, with new polyurethane hangers, and that's all been pressed onto the exhaust, and that's all going to go back on in one section, and then the other half is up there, as you can see. That's bolted on there, and I've cleaned a couple of patches. So what we'll do now is we'll get the exhaust in place, and then my plan is to weld that half, the little black half there, onto that half there, because the bolts are snapped underneath, as you can see. And we'll see if we can weld them together and see how that goes. Okay, that didn't work. When it all went together, the exhaust didn't really fit the car. And I remember that's exactly how it was. It was kind of banging on the bumper, and that's why I ended up putting these little rubber pads in. Bang in there, and just burn the rubber and smelt like shit. So, genius idea. Where these bolts have snapped off, I'm going to weld a bolt on there, and I'm going to weld a bolt on there, offset by 10mm that way, and if you like, offset upwards by 10mm as well, and that will allow the exhaust to offset 10mm downwards and 10mm to starboard, which should hopefully clear the problem and sort everything out. I think. Let's see how that goes. Welcome back. So halfway through welding these bolts on, so I'm literally just welding these 2 bolts on. You can see where the original bolts were there and kind of in there that have snapped, and I'm moving them 1/2 inch that way and 1/2 inch that way, as you can see. So what I've done is a few little spot welds, where's the camera, kind of like with that one there, to get everything lined up in position. You test it and then you cut them off and you try again, you test them and you cut them off and you try again until you've got them in the right place, and then you convert them into continuous form welds, like you can see that little one in there, just to add, which is what actually gives the strength. So I'll finish off this, paint it up, and we'll go and test it out. Welcome back, valued viewers. So exhaust is on. The fitment is not perfect, but it's much better than it was. We've now got a 1/2 inch gap over there where it was basically rubbing on the bodywork before, which is rubbish, and we've now got kind of just over 1/4 inch there, where it's rubbing against this little rubber pad that I put on last time, and kind of melting the rubber. So, and it's pretty solid, so I don't think it's going anywhere. So although not central, it's superior to what it was. Look in here, here's where the gubbins is. So that is where that's where the kind of 2-piece mount is there, and you can see the little screws, bolts dropping down. That's where we welded those bolts on. So it's all much happier now. I'm happy that it's strong enough, which is good, and it's attached all properly now and fitted better. So that's the exhaust. I fitted the clutch lines as well. Just need to put the clutch lines back on from when I took them off. Now it's time to start it up for the first time since, well, God knows when actually. Oh, so a little bit nervous, but we'll see. Battery is on. Come on, baby. I guess the first thing to do is pressurise the fuel lines to make sure that we're not going to have leaks. Hear the fuel pump going. Sounds good. Just pressurise those up to full 4 bar. Just looking for any leaks. Nothing obvious. Taking the engine bay. Everything appears to be holding. You can tell they're full. It's the new filter and everything. Right. Here goes nothing. Come on, baby. Oh no. It feels like it's just a dead battery actually. Okay, take 2. Trying a different battery. Just rip this one out of Eve's. Hopefully you won't mind. Let's see what happens now. So let's check the fuel pump again. Okay, and looking for any fuel leaks or my mug.
Wonderful.
Working car.
Happy?
Yeah.
Good.
Just checking that the fuel lines are holding. Ooh. Now I remember why the effort was worth it. That is officially one working Victor. No obvious fuel leaks. Obviously I haven't tested the brake lines yet because I haven't put any brake fluid in and bled them yet. So that's that. That's a good feeling. That's a lot of work. It's probably approaching 100 hours I've put in now, which is, it's a lot of work, like £5,000 worth of labour or something stupid. Next thing is we are going to look at the undersides of the doors, I guess, and maybe, and the seat. We're going to need to start looking at the seat. They need fitting properly and safely, and maybe after that start going on to the actual bodywork, the exterior bodywork. How interesting. Right, all good. I'll see you later.